Strap in
Did he say strap in or strap on?
and prepare yourself for a mind-blowing ride through politics, culture, and anything else we can think of. Get tomahawked by two guys with a lot on their minds. This
And we are live. Welcome, everybody, to the TomaTalk podcast. This is our 7th installment. Glad you could be with us.
Can't stop watching these election videos. Take this.
And Kaz can't stop
Welcome.
watching election videos because, well, the channels just can't stop running them. They can't get enough of them. We are your hosts. I am Uzi. He is Kaz.
What's up, everybody?
Tonight on the show coming up, we got a pretty good show. We got the Bad Moon Rising, Arabian Nights, Dead Seals, and that's so tasteless. When we get to the story, you'll understand why I'm saying it's tasteless, but it's necessary. The University of Massholes, and maybe some other stuff. I don't know. We'll see what kind of weeds we can get off into tonight. So, anyways, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So, the Bad Moon Rising. Kaz, I'll let you go ahead and talk about this.
Okay, now wait a minute. Is that the one? That's the article I sent you, or is that the video I sent you?
That is the article you sent me.
And is that the one when Trump made millions off of the Saudi Arabians?
No, that's the Arabian Nights portion. This is
you
the one.
go ahead. You go first.
Okay,
Catch myself
so
up again.
So the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon publicly acknowledged Thursday that he removed the Saudi-led coalition currently bombing Yemen from a blacklist of child killers. I'm reading this right from the website, theintercept.com. 72 hours after it was published, excuse me, due to a financial threat to defund United Nations programs. Shit move.
He didn't name the source of the threat, but news reports have indicated that it came directly from the Saudi government. The UN's 2015 Armed and Children in Armed Conflict report originally listed the Saudi-led coalition in Yemen under parties that kill or maim children and parties that engage in attacks on schools and or hospitals.
Okay, I'm actually going to defend Saudi Arabia on this one, and only on this one tiny little thing. Considering who they're bombing. I mean, granted, yes, the Saudis are Muslim. What is it, 99.9% of their country is Muslim? Like, okay, fine. But they're also fighting Muslims. It's like when Israel's accused of, oh, look, they attack schools and they attack hospitals and stuff. Where the hell do you think Hamas is firing their rockets into Jerusalem from?
Yeah, these fucking people are cowards. They're going to be hiding in schools and hospitals. They're going to use children to deliver their IEDs, their vehicle-borne IEDs, their vests, and everything like that. They're going to use kids to do all this other shit, so kids are going to get killed.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I'll defend the Saudis on just this one aspect of it. Because, I mean, you and I have seen firsthand, the rules of engagement. I think it's under the Geneva Conventions. You don't harm schools. You don't harm the infrastructure. Unnecessarily, unless it's being used for military purposes. And me and you both know they use... Hell, we lit the hell out of a school one time because they were using it for a military purpose.
Yeah.
So, yeah, mosques, too. I know people were all up in arms when mosques were getting blown up. And it's like, well, when they're housing how many rifles and RPGs, I mean, it doesn't seem like they're going there for prayer. I mean, unless they're praying to the gun god. So
the gun god.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think
I think we'll just call that Ares.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think they have a picture of Charlton Heston up there on their altar. I mean, so, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the UN for a lot of reasons. Like, I don't think we need to have a one world government. I think that's a terrible idea. I think the UN is wildly ineffective in pretty much anything that they do. What are your thoughts on the UN in general?
Okay, so I'm a futurist, right?
Yes.
And I think that we do need some kind of global authority to handle extraterrestrial conflicts and encounters.
Okay.
when those start happening, which they will eventually start happening.
Down just a little bit more here. For those of you wondering, yes, I'm messing with the video. There we go. That's better.
Are you sure we're recording? Are you sure we're live? Are you sure everything else is good?
I made sure everything was good. Well, we'll see. But
yeah, I mean,
I guess
I don't see. It depends on what their authority is and where they use it. You know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I guess I'm okay with the UN as far as like, if it was I don't know, think of it like the Warriors, where Cyrus calls all the gangs together and they all show up and it was their meeting spot and there was no violence there. If that's what it is, and hey, all the countries, hostile to each other or not, are going to get together in one spot and there's a truce, while you're in that one spot meeting with each other, okay, fine. Like, I can live with that if that's the place to go hash shit out. Oh, sorry there, YouTube. Didn't mean to drop an S-bomb on you. If that's where you're going to hash stuff out, that's fine. I can live with that. As far as a one new world order, or one world government, or whatever, maybe in the future, when the aliens do come to take us over, but I think they're going to wait for us to annihilate ourselves. So I don't think there would be an interstellar conflict in that.
Well, not just I mean, when we are players in the intergalactic, whatever the fuck there is out there.
Language, man. YouTube won't pay us.
They're not going to pay us anyways. We're not getting shit for views. Fuck it.
Yeah, I know. We only have
besides,
6
people aren't going to
viewers.
like us if we're all worrying about our language and shit. Nobody's going to want to watch us anyways, and then we'll never get fucking big.
Oh yeah, I'm not big on self-censorship.
I say we just roll with whatever we got, and if YouTube doesn't want to pay us, then eventually, if we do get large enough, then we'll just get other sponsors from companies that don't give a fuck.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, so I guess, and the whole intergalactic, being a player in an intergalactic scale or interstellar, so whatever you want to call it, I think that's a long ways off. I think we'll be annihilated by then anyways. I just don't think. I mean, we might get like a few brainiacs out there that decide to launch themselves off the Earth and go create the master race somewhere else. But
all it takes is one genius in his garage to figure out how we can make light speed possible. And
actually, they're about to test the EM drive, which I'm pretty stoked about. I read that news. I'm like, oh hell yeah.
I was reading that the laser propulsion system can get us up to 26% the speed of light.
That's still pretty good.
That's pretty fast. Like, you could get to the next star in 15 years, I think it was.
I'll take
Something
it.
like that. Yeah, take a nap.
Well, and you got to figure, it's 15 years on Earth.
Mm-hmm. General relativity.
To the person in that ship, it ain't gonna be no 15 years. I mean, it'll still be a long ass time, but it ain't gonna be 15 years. Yeah, I mean, as far as the UN, though, I think they're wildly ineffective. I mean, they talk about these sanctions and whatnot. They're going to place on countries. I'm not seeing what they're doing. If obviously the Saudis can come in here and financially pressure them, well, get us off this list. I guess I'm going to ask the Saudis, who cares if you're on the list? What have they done? Nothing. They're still buying your oil. Relax.
I mean, you know how we believe in state power with a overseeing federal government that just has pretty much the power to make war and regulate interstate commerce and just do the basic constitutional shit, right?
Right.
It should be something like that, is what the UN should do for the different countries. Just regulate inter-country commerce and provide for the security of the planet.
Yeah, but that falls on us.
Well, I was saying the UN could function like a larger scale federal government but in the context of our idealized version of it, not the one that we have today, in which it's in everything.
Yeah, but that's an awful lot of centralized power to be trusting to somebody who not wield it that way. I mean, I just couldn't go for it. And I think that takes away some of the sovereignty that all the nations are supposed to have anyways. I mean, when it comes, I hear a lot of people, especially the leftists, like, oh, we broke international law. Well, we abide by U.S. law. We don't abide by international law. Like, sorry, they wanted to throw about George Bush and, oh, he's a war criminal. Well, what did he do? Because the war was approved by the Congress and the Senate. Like, everything was approved. Everything was done legally as far as we're concerned. International law, our government's really not held accountable by it. And I don't think any government really should be held accountable by international law. And how do you do it? Yeah, you could have the UN, but then are you really sovereign if the UN is the overseeing government? Can you truly be a free people?
Well, you could say that about the federal government, or even a state government, or even a local government, any government. The argument, it can be taken to the level of complete anarchism. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
because that's the only true freedom is anarchy.
okay, you're right. I was not very precise with my wording there. Can you even claim to be a free people? Let's just say that. I mean, as free as we are, yes, we have limitations. Yes, we have our government. I think government serves a very necessary role. I think they've overextended their reach on local, state, and federal levels, all of them. But, whatever. It's up to the voters, and we can change it if we really care to. Um,
What document creates the UN? Like the
uh,
Constitution creates our government, the United States. What document creates the UN?
I don't know. See, the UN, to me, it blows my mind, too. Because they rely pretty much on us. I mean, we allow China, Great Britain, France, Germany, Russia to be major players in the UN. We're like on the Security Council or something. And I can't really, for the life of me, see why we allow China on the Security Council. We're never going to agree on anything. They have their individual goals for their country. We have our individual goals. Most of them don't see eye to eye. Um, I mean, even India and other places like.
And how often are the goals of the average American, you and me, radically different than the goals of our own government, our own politicians?
Well, for the past 8 years, I would say my goals are really different. But at the same time, like I can change my goals based on what the government's doing. And I'm not saying to change my goals, but I can change my methods of achieving my goals based on what the government's doing. Um, it's a lot harder for our government to actually change its goals to fit some like ridiculous UN whatever rule they want to put into place. Um, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of a one rule. I'm not a big fan of centralized government in general. I think the more government gets spread out, the more, I guess, command and control, if you will, the further out it's spread, the better off everybody's going to be. It leaves more people to make more decisions. There is more individual freedom when I keep wanting to say command and control when it's not so centralized.
I agree, but I think that a carefully crafted constitution to create a UN in which checks and balances are incorporated to a similar degree of our own constitution would make it more agreeable and maybe even beneficial for the world. Because, I mean, not everybody enjoys the level of freedom that we have.
No, that's true. But our Constitution was pretty carefully crafted. And it has the checks and balances. It has checks and balances written into it, and we're pissing all over it. Not me and you personally.
That's just the ignorance of us. That's just the ignorance of our people. I mean, we have to educate each other.
But when you add more people to the equation, it only makes it worse. It only makes it harder.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm not saying that we're ready for that necessarily.
Okay, but you're down the road.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I look at like the League of Nations back after World War I with Woodrow Wilson, and they set up the League of Nations, and I thought it was great because he set it up, and then he said, "Yeah, we're not getting it on it anyways. Here, you guys have your fun." I think it was like 68 nations or something that was in on it. I think it lasted for about 5 years and failed. Exact same thing as the UN, except it's almost like the European Union. I mean, people voluntarily went in there, and it was not against. After World War One, the European nations joined in. It was basically trying to prevent another war. Well, it broke down, and then Hitler came to power. But yeah, the UN, I don't know, man. They're kind of pointless. I don't see them doing a whole hell of a lot. And I know I mean, maybe they go into like Sudan or something and chasing after Joseph Kony. Well, you think you'd have caught him by now. Apparently, he's got 5 million little kids with AKs running around him. Like, you think you could catch the guy.
Okay, so the Charter of the United Nations. Thank you, Josh, for sending me that. This is the document that creates the UN, and there are, I don't read fucking Roman numerals. It looks like 20.
Is it 2 X's?
Chapters. No. XIX. What's that?
29. Or
29.
19.
Yeah.
19, sorry.
19?
XIX. Yeah,
Okay.
XIX is
19 chapters, and I don't know how many pages. We should review it as an episode.
Yeah, we could do that. I'm all for that.
Like an extra episode, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, if anybody's gone to our page, you noticed I put up a video section, and you also probably noticed if you looked at it, there's nothing there. Well, Kaz and I both work full time. Okay, we'd like to make this our full time work, but since that's not a reality right now, we still have bills to pay.
Because you motherfuckers aren't sharing.
I know, right? Jesus, guys, share this stuff, would you? And you can follow us at TomaTalk Podcast on Twitter. Check out our webpage, TomaTalkPodcast.com. Let your friends know. Or if you're Applin, who also want to know if he didn't have any friends, tell the people that hate you. In fact, tell those people not to go there and use a little reverse psychology on them, all right?
Nice. Good thing.
Be like, well, if you hate me, you don't want to check this out. And they'll check it out because, well, let's face it, human beings are not the smartest people on, or not the smartest beings on the planet. Some can be. Most, not so much.
This charter is not that long. It's just a longer than average website in length. I don't know how many pages it would print out to, but 111 articles. Here, you go through that.
Yeah, that's
No
not very
problem.
much.
Okay, but let's do that another time.
Yeah, another time. So, but yeah, I guess that's my thoughts on the UN. I'm not a big fan of them. I don't see them doing a whole lot. I mean, even if you look back to the beginning of the Iraq War, with Hans Blix and the weapons inspectors, I don't know if you've ever read their inspection report. They found a ton of stuff. I mean, it wasn't just, they found that the missiles that Saddam had were non-compliant with the restrictions they put on them. You're seeing similar things right now with the Iran and the Iran nuclear deal. Oh, well, now they're starting to test these. I can't remember the name of the missile. They're starting to test these missiles that far exceed the range they were supposed to go to. They're no longer making missiles, and Saddam no longer he wasn't making missiles for self-defense. He was making missiles for an offense. Even chemical weapons. They found chemical weapons. They found a ton of sarin nerve agent, and also in a lot of the factories they went to, they made if they put it in their, it's noteworthy. If they put it in their report, there's a reason for it. They made sure to note that some of these factories they went to where Saddam had been making chemical weapons appear to be freshly cleaned. And then you see the Syrian government using chemical weapons on their citizens. And I wonder where they got those. But, yeah so I think the UN's kind of pointless. I think we've tried to kowtow. I mean, I'm not saying that we have to be the world police, but let's face it, we are anyways. I mean, I'd rather us not be, but we are. Like, we've gone to the UN, even with the Iraq thing. Yeah, we had a couple backers. We had Great Britain and Canada was with us, and Australia. That's about it. But everybody else like, no, don't do it. We're like, nah, fuck it, we're going in.
You remember when we first went to Muqtadiya, right? Yep. How fucked up that place was. Like,
oh, yeah.
It was absolute hellhole. We were getting fucking IED'd and shot at every fucking day, right? And then I remember by the end of it, like, I remember the streets being clean and, people, little kids playing in the street, and it was a lot better of a place just by us being there for however many months we were, I think that it was I don't regret going.
No, not at all. Well, that's the thing. And while we were there, we could be watching the reports on the TV talking about how the Iraqi people didn't want us there. That town was pretty damn thankful that we were there. I also remember, in our briefings being warned about Al-Quds, which was the Iranian Al-Qaeda. And what were we, about 12 miles from the Iranian border, if I remember correctly, something like that. I could be off on the distance there. But I mean, the Iranians were teaching these guys how to make those electron or explosively formed projectiles and the molten copper that was punching right through the striker's armor. They were teaching, and they were actively engaged in the war.
What was it? EM what?
EFP, explosive.
EFP. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, explosively formed projectiles. Yeah, I mean, even the Iranians, they were actively engaged. But I like you said though, man. I remember getting there, and I blame part of that on the previous unit, the unit we took over for. It didn't seem like they were very active with the people in that community. It seemed like they just kind of rolled around, wanted to mess some shit up here and there, and that was about it. Outside of that, there was
That may have been their mission. I mean,
well, they were Cav Scouts, so that's not nice. But yeah, I mean, they didn't seem like they wanted any kind of community engagement. And we got there, and we started talking to the local imams and local community leaders. I remember we set up I guess a makeshift police force. We gave them their PT belts. Said, all right, we're gonna let you guys kind of do your thing. You need to keep your streets safe. We'll be here to help you out if you get into trouble, but you have to do the majority of the work. We were trying to turn it over to them and basically give them control of their destiny. And by the time we left there, like you said, man, the markets were vibrant. People were out living their lives again. We did a lot of humanitarian stuff, food, blankets, whatnot. But yeah, the markets were super vibrant when we left. But when we got there, it was like, might as well have been a ghost town.
And then when we left, didn't it all just go right back to shit?
Yeah, the unit that took it over, they just let it all go right away again. So yeah,
maybe what they need is an occupation.
Well, I mean, and I know some people are going to just, what they needed was Saddam. You may not like the guy, and he was a horrible, horrible, horrible human being.
Yeah, the Turk used to tell me that shit.
But
I can't argue.
Yeah, I mean, he ruled that country with an iron fist. Am I a fan of the minority ruling? No, because I mean, Iran, Iraq is is Shia majority. Saddam was Sunni Muslim. And he was in the vast minority. I think 10% of the population of Iraq is Sunni Muslim. So, and that's what caused the big civil war too. Is we disposed of him, and then we de-Baathized the entire country, which was a major problem. Like as far as political blunders that happened during that war, I think that was the biggest one. If you were in the Ba'ath Party, you were out. It didn't matter. And what people failed to realize, those in command at the time, from George Bush all the way down to the generals on the ground, if you take out everybody in the Ba'ath Party, you've taken out everybody that knows anything about running a country. And not everybody in the Ba'ath Party actually believed in it. Similar to Nazi Germany. Not everybody that was a Nazi was an actual Nazi. Some people did it for survival. If you wanted to be a lawyer in Iraq while Saddam was in charge, you had to be in the Ba'ath Party. You didn't have a choice. So, people did it for survival. They didn't necessarily do it because they were ideologically aligned with it. So, yeah. But, anyways.
Josh says we should we shook up an ant farm with killing him and taking him out of power.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Not necessarily, and Josh, I'll tell you on the side which cavalry unit it was. I'm not going to call them out here. I actually was, when I got out of active duty with the National Guard, I was with a guy who was in that exact unit, and me and him had some words. Anyways, yeah.
Instead of toppling his regime, why didn't we just help somebody else take it over from within?
Well, that's how we got Saddam. We helped him take it over from within. We put him in power. So we didn't want to do that again, which is fine. And I mean, I remember when they held their first elections, people all proud. We weren't over there yet, but, people were super proud. They put their finger in the ink, and you see all the pictures of men and women, which is really odd in a Muslim world, holding their fingers up with the ink on it. They were super proud to have voted and feel like they had some kind of control over their destiny, which was awesome. And then we really did let it go to shit. It wasn't a perfect plan. Do I think it was a necessary war? Yeah, I do. Do I think it had to go on as long as it did? No, and that's where I think the political blunder came in. We toppled him, but we had no plan to replace him, no plan to even get anything going. It was okay. We're going to take him out, and that was the end of it. That was our plan. There was no end state. So,
whose fault is that?
Ooh, there's plenty of blame to go around on that one, man. I mean, I know. It's the easy one is to point to George Bush. I don't think it's the correct one.
Well, it's always the ultimate responsibility, isn't it?
Yes and no. I mean, while he is the commander in chief, I think it's unreasonable. Even if Barack Obama were in the same situation, I think it's unreasonable to expect that one person knows the fine details of every little thing. But that's why he has his Joint Chiefs of Staff there. They're the ones that are supposed to be putting this plan together. And somebody should have asked, okay, so we kill him, then what? I mean, I don't know if they did ask that, but as far as our actions are concerned, it certainly doesn't seem that question was even thought of. It was, okay, we killed him. Well, shit, we'll just keep going, I guess. Yes, Josh, that guy did it.
What did he say?
He said that guy did it. That guy is to blame. Don't be that guy.
We should have Josh on the show one of these days. Do you have Skype, Josh? I'm not going to wait for you to answer now.
So, but yeah, I guess, so keeping in the Arab part of the world and kind of trying to bring it back home, do you want to talk about the Trump deal with the Saudis?
Okay, so I had watched a video from Secular Talk comparing Hillary Clinton's past dealings with her campaign contributions from people from the Middle East with Donald Trump's business dealings with people from the Middle East. Evidently, Donald Trump had some, was it condos, some kind of housing type deal, real estate shit, that he'd sold to Saudi princes. And Kyle from Secular Talk was trying to say that it was pretty much the same thing as Hillary Clinton. And obviously it isn't. I mean, business is business. You don't turn away. I mean, it's not like he's selling them guns or human trafficking with them or anything like that. He was selling them real estate.
Like Hillary Clinton was?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are two completely different monsters. There's no point in trying to compare them. They're totally different kind of evil.
Yeah, they're two sides of the same coin. Is the problem?
I don't even think Donald Trup is evil. I just think he's stupid.
I don't think he's stupid. I think he's just thoughtless. Like I think if a neuron fires in his brain, it immediately comes out of his mouth. Like there is no filter there. I mean, there's not even a screen. There's not even a guy he can turn to whisper it in his ear. Like
no logical processing mechanism.
No, yeah, it just fires and poops out. Yeah, I think what did the Saudis give the Clinton Foundation, like $25 million or some crazy number like that? And this is while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, I'll be damned, an arms deal was made with them right after they deposited some money. To me, that's a problem. If you're holding political office, and I mean, I know she said that she was going to sever her ties with the Clinton Foundation when she became Secretary of State. Well, that goalpost is moved in typical leftist fashion to, well, if I'm president, then I'll sever my ties with the Clinton Foundation. No, you won't. Like, people will still give it money. You're obviously, that's like Donald Trump saying he severed his ties with all his business dealings if he becomes president. He's still involved. Like, let's not
give all that up for $400,000 a year.
Yeah, let's not kid ourselves here. I mean, he may not be the CEO or on the board of directors anymore, but he's still going to be involved. Obviously, his son will probably be the CEO or on the board of directors or whatnot.
And he'll still maintain a majority share of everything.
Yeah, and I don't know how all
is it public? Is it publicly traded?
I don't know. I've never looked into that.
I'll look it up right now.
But yeah, as far as Trump taking money from the Saudis, like, okay, they gave him what did Kyle there say about $8 million, something like that? I think at the high end.
Yeah, I don't know the figure.
So, okay, we'll just say $8 million. If he took $8 million and they bought some condos in Trump Tower there in New York, I don't see a problem with that. I don't see one. That's business. If you give the Secretary of State $25 million into her own foundation, and then you get an arms deal done on behalf of the taxpayer, I see a major problem with that. So, yeah, and Oh God, why can't I think of Kyle's last name there
Yeah,
on
and
Secular Talk?
any business is good for everybody. I mean, if he's making deals with people in Saudi Arabia, that's building relationships with other countries. And not that Saudi Arabia is a great place, but it gives us an opportunity to influence their cultures.
Oh yeah, for sure. Um, and that's actually one of the bigger things. You know, I mean, I don't think we should be into nation building or whatever. Our military shouldn't be the one influencing other governments. I personally think our military should be used for defensive purposes only. On the rare instance that there is some kind of mass genocide going on, okay, I'm all for intervening in that. Outside of that, I don't think our military or any of our threat of violence should be used to persuade a government to do one thing or another. Let the sovereign nations be the sovereign nations. Let them do as they please. If they want to go full socialist like Venezuela and fuck their shit up, fine, go for it. If they want to go full capitalist, I don't have a pretty good example of that because nobody's ever done it. I guess, yeah,
You
even.
mean straight up complete free market, no regulation, damn near anarchy?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no good example of that. Nobody's ever. I think people are too scared to try that.
It's called
And
anarcho-capitalism, right? That's the term.
something like that.
So,
Um,
uh, Josh says the difference is Trump is running a business and Hillary is having money given to her. And I would say Hillary is some kind of gangster, dude. She's like a racketeer. This is extortion type shit. I don't know. She's, I don't know what you'd call it, but it's definitely some kind of business.
yeah, no, yeah. I mean, yeah, she's definitely running I mean, she's getting rich, and then she's using the taxpayer money to make political deals with these other countries. That's a problem. That's me and you and Josh there, and everybody else paying for it. Um, whereas, I'm not paying for Trump stuff. Like, whatever. As a matter of fact, the Saudis, by buying stuff from Trump, probably had to pay some taxes on it. And I know somebody out there is screaming, "Oh well, they didn't pay taxes. They're the 1%." Well, no, they still pay sales tax and other things, so they pay taxes. Um, yeah, I just think it's wrong. Politicians and there's no easy fix to this. Vote them out, impeach them, whatever. But there is no easy fix. I don't know. The more
Yeah,
power we give them, the more dirty they're going to become. So
that's true. Because power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
indeed, it does. Um, but yeah, this Kyle guy on Secular Talk, he's interesting. I've listened to him plenty of times. I most of
I
his
enjoy his show. I mean, I agree with a lot of things he says, not all, maybe 75%.
I think the problem I have with him and others like him, it's not even so much that I disagree with a lot of what he says. Like whatever, I can disagree with anybody and still like them. But with him, I've seen him on the Twitters, going after people, especially on the conservative side. And then they're like, "Oh, okay, well that's fine. Let's debate." And he backs down immediately. Backs down, and it's like, okay, so you want your platform to? I mean, anybody ever wants to come on here that disagrees with us and tell us that you're welcome. Please come on here. I would love to have that discussion. It doesn't always have to be a debate. We can just discuss ideas and exchange them. Maybe get somewhere. Yeah, he won't do it, and it
Really?
bothers. Yeah, it
I never
bothers
even
me.
heard about that.
It's him and Steven Crowder. Like he went after
Oh,
Steven Crowder hard, and Steven Crowder and this is why I love Crowder. I don't agree with everything on him, most of it, but not everything. But anytime somebody goes after him, his only response is, "Okay, come on the show, or let's go on your show." He'll go wherever. He doesn't care. But like the Piers Morgans of the world. Why can't I think of this dude's
mhm.
last name on Secular Talk? Kyle.
It's some Polish word, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say kolache or something, but that's the breakfast food.
That's racist.
Whatever, that's fine. We'll go with that.
What
Yeah,
is his name?
Piers Morgan, him, even DL Hughley, Steven Crowder has invited them all on, and all of them. Nope. And it's like, well, I've seen guys from the why can't I think of it? Progress or thinkprogress.org. Go on there and go. Hold on real quick.
Hmm. Oh, Kolinsky is his name.
Kolinsky, yeah. Sorry, my son
Yeah.
was telling me good night. Love you, buddy.
Okay.
Um, Yeah, but I seen Zach Ford from Think Progress go on there, and they're talking about transsexual issues. And I mean, it was a very good debate. I don't think they got anywhere, but Stephen Crowder, even still to this day, when he talks about people who won't debate him, he brings up Zach Ford. He's like, I have mad respect for the guy. He came on here, he stood in the pocket, he stood his ground. They didn't get anywhere, but they were able to go back and forth and have that discussion. Um, yeah, so I guess that's my issue with Kyle here. Kalinsky. Kalinsky?
Yeah, Kalinsky.
Okay, with him and the Piers Morgans, the D.L. Hugleys, is anytime they challenge somebody and the person accepts, they back down. It's a bullying technique. It's, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to shame you, but when you come back at me, I'm going to step down. So, yeah.
Yeah, ridiculous. This looks like they had a conversation at some point in 2015.
Oh, yeah, they've had plenty of conversations. It mainly took place over Twitter. But, I mean, it seems real childish, but like I said, it's not just him. It was, I've already mentioned D.L. Hughley, Piers Morgan. There's a few others. But then you got guys like Dave Rubin, who was by no means conservative. But, I listen to him and Crowder debate stuff all the time. Awesome. Like, it's fun. It's totally civilized. They sit there, they laugh about their differences. They get their ideas across. They enjoy each other's company. Like, okay, cool. It's a nice conversation. That's how it should be. I mean, even if you vehemently disagree with somebody, it can still be a civilized conversation. It doesn't have to just be a shouting match, a la Crowder and Christopher Titus. But yeah, it's. You all right?
Yeah, there was a baby down here crying. I'm still here a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I had my microphone muted.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so there's things like that where it just bothers me when they don't do that. I guess it tells me it's like, okay, that's great. You can sit in front of your camera and you can spit forth your opinion. But is it actually your opinion? If you're afraid to go somewhere else and actually stand your ground in front of somebody who disagrees with you, is it your opinion?
Exactly. That's my thing. It has to do with anything. If you believe something, defend it. Because if you can't defend it, then you're going to be defeated in an argument or a debate, and then you're going to learn something, and you might change your beliefs.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I guess I think we talked about it last week. With it's kind of a leftist tactic. It's just an echo chamber of words, and when they've never had to defend anything. Every TV channel they've ever turned on, it agrees with their viewpoint. They've never been challenged, and they've always been afraid to challenge their beliefs. That's why you get the college campus atmosphere that you have now. As soon as their belief is challenged, they feel that a trigger warning should be issued at some point, and they need to run to their safe space and suck their thumbs. I mean, it's really quite pathetic. Perfect example of that. You had to know this was coming with the college campus atmosphere. Dick's out for Harambe. UMass is a perfect example of people who've never had their beliefs challenged. And this happened a while ago with Milo Yiannopoulos. Oh my God, why can't I think of her name?
When we were always talking shit about?
No. There was a big. It's called the Triggering, and it was a big event. It was put on by like the campus Republicans or whatever, and they paid some speakers. It was Milo. I want to say not Suzanne Summers. Ah, Jesus, I can't remember her name. And
Suzanne Summers, isn't she the old white lady from Step by Step?
Yeah. I was going to say Three's Company, but sure, we'll go with something newer. Not much newer, but newer. But, yeah. Well, yeah, it was her, Steven Crowder, and Milo Yiannopoulos. They go there, and right away, man, the social justice warriors and the crowd are just shouting them down. And I mean, Milo, if anybody doesn't know who Milo Yiannopoulos is, we are talking about a gay British, like, Trump supporter doesn't even describe him. He refers to Trump as daddy. And he's not joking. Like, he is, when it comes to the alt-right, Milo is the poster child. He is it. And then, Crowder, he's more conservative than most. Actually, he's pretty damn conservative. I can't see too many people being further right than him on most issues. And then there was the Democrat feminist. Why can't I think of her name? I want to think of it.
Democrat feminist.
I'm gonna look her up. She's a lifelong, and she hates the third wave feminists too.
What is she on?
She is a professor, if I remember correctly.
I'm not gonna know her.
Christina Hoff Sommers. That's why I wanted to say Susan Summers. Christina Hoff Sommers. Okay. So yeah, they shouted her down, and when she was up there, and they went. Well, Crowder went nuts on him, and then Milo had his awesome say too. But that's where Trigglypuff comes from, the fat gelatinous mold of a woman sitting there beating.
The one that was like,
yeah, screaming, "Keep the seats!" I had to watch that video like 7 times to figure out what the hell she was saying. In between that and the hot dog flying out of her mouth, I couldn't figure out what was going on. But yeah, so UMass. Apparently, there's a couple of RAs there, and they are offended. They are offended because on whiteboards throughout campus, people are writing "dicks out for Harambe."
So for our audience, "dicks out for Harambe" is a trending hashtag, which is basically kind of a joke in which people pull out their dicks to support Harambe, the gorilla that was shot.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody's actually pulled out their dicks for this, but that's just what it's about.
And I enjoy it so much. Like I said, it flows off the tongue really nice. Dicks out for Harambe. Okay, so here is a letter that these two RAs, I believe their names are Ryan and Colleen. Sorry, I'm getting a little close to my screen here. All right, it says, "Hello, Sick 3 residents. Psych 3 SYC." I don't know what the hell that's abbreviated. Anyways, I hope you all are enjoying your first weekend at UMass. In case you forgot, this is Ryan and Colleen, the floor RAs. We wanted to take a moment to address some phrases that are being written on the whiteboards, specifically ones involving Harambe. We understand that social media has been popularizing Harambe in some crude ways, which may appear as funny to groups of people. However, these comments are not only derogatory, but also microaggressions. To some UMass students, similar to RAPs, or Residential Academic Programs, UMass also offers Defined Residential Communities, or DRPs, in which groups of students sharing similar heritages, ethnicities, and or identities are able to live together. I'm going to stop right there for a minute. So, I thought we were forcing diversity on college campuses. Now they're telling me they're openly segregating people?
Yeah, dude, it's fucking crazy. People want to be segregated now. It's like, fuck Martin Luther King. Fuck everything he did and everything he ever fucking said. Fuck it all. We just want to be fucking the black bathroom and the white bathroom, the gay bathroom and the trans bathroom and the men and the women.
Seriously, that's what comes to mind on this. It's, okay, you're sitting here pissed off about microaggressions. First of all, if anybody doesn't know what a microaggression is, like...
Nope, don't know.
Okay. Well, so just so you know, down the road, this is a microaggression. Say,
is that when like
you see
penis just gets a little bit hard, but like doesn't get all the way hard?
I would consider that more oppression than aggression, but okay. Say you're on a bus, right? And you see a woman sitting there, and she's just sitting by herself, and she has her purse on her side next to her, and she sees like a black guy get on the bus and sits down close to her. If you see her pick up her purse and put it in her lap, that's a microaggression. And that right there, what you just did, if you're not watching, you didn't see it. So for our listeners, Sam just gave this look of confusion. That is called a micro response, which is what a microaggression deserves, is a micro response. A little shrug of the shoulders and a, eh.
This is some shit that only a psychologist should care about.
And actually, the book was written by a psychologist on microaggressions, and even the guy
only psychology students should be reading that book.
And even he came out, and I guess in the book, I'm gonna have to look this one up again too. I should have came prepared with this one. In his book, he says this is not intended to, like, change the culture or have people censor anything. He was just doing a quick study on it, like, just of how people react to things. And he just coined the term microaggressions. Well, leftists and social justice warriors in particular, and even the right, and I'll get to them here in a bit, they have taken this microaggression thing and they've turned it into a movement, man. Like, you can't, based on, maybe it's personal experience that she's basing it on, that she clutched her purse just a little bit tighter.
This is what happens when somebody who doesn't understand science reads something about science and then tries to write an article about science to a bunch of lay people.
Yes.
Nobody cares if somebody picks up their purse and holds it in their lap. There's nothing fucking wrong with that, and nobody should give a fuck about it.
Yeah, if anything, have it create the conversation. Or like I said, if you really feel that it's a mic, there was the other dude. God, I'll do an article on this guy too. I'm just gonna get into him really quickly. He decided, as a black guy, he wanted to prove racism existed, right? So for a week straight, he dressed up nice and respectable, and in a suit, maybe not quite a 3-piece suit, but slacks, and he dressed nice, like he was going to a business meeting or something. Everywhere he went, he said he was treated with respect. And then for another week, I'm not going to say he dressed all homie G'd out and had his pants sagging around his knees or nothing, but he just dressed like he always does, like a skater and a hoodie and stuff. And I want to say he lived in L.A. And then he noticed that when he dressed like that, he wasn't treated the same. Therefore, racism. And it's like, no, therefore you are presenting...
the clothes make the man.
Yeah, therefore you are presenting yourself as something that people associate with something else. Like, that may not be you, but how you're dressed and how you present yourself is associated with it. So
I don't care who you are, what race you are, or whatever. Go out to any bar dressed in a full fucking suit, dressed to the nines, and you're gonna get a much different response.
Absolutely.
I used to do it for fun. I had 3 or 4 suits that I had ready to go for suit night that me and my friend Jason used to do. We would get dressed up in suits and go to the regular fucking bar and just be in suits and just be awesome. And we got that idea from Barney Stinson on How I Met Your Mother.
But it's not wrong. I mean, you're treated totally different. And skin color ain't got nothing to do with that. That's just how you present yourself. If you go out and present yourself as a slob, people are going to treat you like a slob. If you go out and present yourself as a respectable person, you're going to be treated as a respectable person. Like, if I go out wearing my, I got a shirt with a T-Rex on it, and he's got a roll of toilet paper in one hand, he's looking at his ass, and he goes, oh, crap. Like, obviously, T-Rex can't wipe his ass. He don't got long arms. But I'm not wearing that to, go out and be respected. I'm just wearing it for fun. People see that, okay, the guy's out having fun. Whatever. They know I'm going to be a loose person when they talk to me. It's not going to be all uptight, and, I'm not going to give them some British accent and be some yuppie asshole. Okay, he's just here, he's relaxed.
You might want to do that one day. It could be fun.
Well, yeah, but...
Maybe you'll run into an actual Brit and then get called out on it.
Yeah, and then I'll just tell him I'm Australian. But yeah, clothes make the man. I mean, as far as microaggressions go, come on, just stop with that. Microaggressions deserve micro responses, and anytime somebody ever accuses anybody out there of having a micro or being microaggressive, seriously, just shrug your shoulders and because unless you're being really aggressive, you don't really need to respond.
What is the middle finger? Is that a microaggression or is it a macroaggression?
Ooh, I don't know. Kind of in the middle, maybe? So the next paragraph on this guy's thing is, we offer a DRP, which, again, is defined residential community. Or, no. Okay, yeah, there should be a DRC, but whatever. We offer a DRP focusing on African American heritage, and it is called the Harambee floor. Harambee is actually a Swahili word, which stands for the point where people pull together, except at UMass where they keep people apart. It has a very positive connotations. They should go back to their freshman English class. But current social media has been misrepresenting it. The floor has been in existence for many years, so any negative remarks regarding Harambee will be seen as a direct attack to our campus's African American community. Please be careful of what gets written on your whiteboards, as well as what you write on them. If you are not the one writing these remarks, please let us or the RA on duty know. To be very clear, using popularizes what? God, it's terrible. I can't say much. I can't say much. I've read through a couple of the articles I've written, and it's like, okay, I need to change some things I screwed up. Popularizes phrases, hashtags, which encourage the exposition of body parts. Okay. Runs the risk of being reported to as a Title IX incident. Title IX, if anybody doesn't know, are anti-discrimination laws. These are sexual assault incidences. Whipping your dick out is not sexual assault. They really need to look up what sexual assault actually is. If you just whip it out, it's not assault. It's indecent exposure, but it's not assault. That not okay.
He assaulted me with his penis. Oh my god.
Yeah, that not only get reported to community standards, but also to the dean of students. Needless to say, it is a very serious incident, especially for a first-year student. Anyways, please be safe this weekend and watch out for any of these phrases. We need to be sure to respect all UMass community members. Well, I don't see them respecting the ones writing dicks out for Harambe. Otherwise, that letter wouldn't have been published.
It's funny how whenever you ask for respect for one group, you have to disrespect another.
Exactly. I mean, you can't just say, okay, they're saying dicks out for Harambe. Who cares? I mean,
it has nothing to do with black people.
Yeah, unless they're running.
It really has nothing to do with it.
Unless they're running up onto the Harambe floor and whipping their dick out and running around, I don't see a problem with it.
I bet you the people that live on the Harambe floor had done that at some point. When they first came out, the first time the hashtag came out, I bet you a couple of the guys were drunk like, you know what, we're on the Harambe floor, dicks out, yeah!
Well, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Jameis Winston incident when he was at Florida State. And he jumps on some cafeteria table screaming, fuck her right in the pussy. Like, they suspended him for it. It's like, who cares? He's 20 years old. I mean, they suspended him for that, but not for stealing crab legs. Like, I don't get it. Anyways, yeah, that's UMass, man. Those guys, there's something wrong at UMass. They I don't think psychological help is enough for them. But yeah, to me, like I said, just the whole thing saying that we have separate communities for people from different backgrounds. And
it's absolutely preposterous. That should be a violation of fucking the Civil Rights Act. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I have to read the law, but I don't know if that's an actual violation, but it should be.
So I deliver mail, and it's probably a choice. But where I deliver mail, one of my stops happens to be the student housing for a college. There's 3 different sets of mailboxes. I've noticed something. If you are Asian, you live in one certain set. Everybody else that doesn't have an Asian last name lives in other sections.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it a choice? Do they just ask to do that? Sure. But that just, validates my point about self-segregation even further. If they are asking to be segregated, like, why are you trying to force diversity? I mean, if people don't want it, they don't want it. Like, I'm all for diversity. I'm not against it, but...
How many people have died fighting against segregation?
Exactly.
I mean, those kids that had to go to the first black kids in a white school back in the 60s and 50s and shit, harassed, beaten, raped, fucking all the worst kind of things in the world that they endured for this idea that we should all be equal. And now these punk-ass college students want to ruin all of that. Just shit on all those people that died and gave up so much for this idea of America.
Well, yeah, I mean, not just them, like any Black Lives Matter, any white supremacist group out there. Like, you're all spitting in the faces of these people that came before us, that fought and bled and died so that we could enjoy equality. And now all of a sudden it's out there, well, the African-American community. There's no such thing as an African-American community. We are all Americans. Get rid of the stupid hyphenations. Let's identify as American first, and then we could probably start solving some problems.
I totally agree.
So, I mean, I'm over the hyphenations. I'm over everybody trying to trying to make themselves more unique than they actually are. Let's all
self-segregation.
Yeah, let's all be honest with ourselves here. The universe doesn't give a shit about us. Okay? So we're all we got. This is it.
You know how it's like they just want to fill up their Facebook profiles with a bunch of labels to make themselves seem so interesting and deep.
Yeah, when it's all superficial. It's all on the surface, and that's it. Yeah, it just drives me nuts. Like I said, self-segregation, and even the kids, even if it is a choice, like, how dare you? But if you call them out on self-segregating, well, now you're a racist.
No, they're the racists.
No, I understand that, but they're going to label you the racist because
Fuck them and fuck what they say. You know.
Well, I don't care. Yeah, but that's their defense. And I mean, and the funny thing is, once somebody, I guess me and you guys more right of center, and girls, like I suppose, we're used to it. Call us a racist. That's fine. Okay, we'll go with that. Yeah, we've heard it so much. Like, it's like dropping an N-bomb. Black guys heard it for so long, and it was horrible. They just started using it as a defense mechanism. Now you hear it in every rap song like it's no big deal. You call me racist? Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. What's it this week? I'm a sexist? Yeah, you bet. Okay. Whatever. Like, it's lost its effect. I mean, so.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, moving on.
It's depressing, really. It just it really makes me sad. These people are really, like, they might as well, not literally, obviously, metaphorically, they are shitting on Martin Luther King's grave. They're walking up to his grave, dropping trowel, taking a nice big fat shit right on his fucking grave. And it's pissing me off.
Yeah. Yes, they are. But they're also, and they're following people who walked hand in hand with Martin Luther King, who knew the man intimately. They're following them. And
like Black Lives Matter shutting down Bernie Sanders' speech. Bernie Sanders was there with Martin Luther King, marching down those fucking streets. And Black Lives Matter has the fucking nerve to go up there and shut him up, of all people. They didn't say anything to fucking Hillary, who's best friends with fucking KKK. And motherfucking... Whatever. Fuck them.
No, I got you, man. I guess I'm leaning more towards the Jesse Jacksons and the Al Sharptons here. They're following these guys, and it's like, hey, these are you want to talk about being exploited? Like, they're sitting there talking about the black strife in America. Look at those dudes. Like, I don't see them
$1 million mansions and fucking.
I don't see them giving up their Bentleys or whatever nice ass car they're driving today so that you could have a 1984 Chevy Celebrity that's reliable so you can get to work. I don't see them giving that up. I see them making money off of your plight. And that's it. And you're giving them the money. And what have they achieved? What have they accomplished? Nothing.
Dick all, man.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, dick's out for Harambe. That's where I'm at. If you feel that's a microaggression, whoever's out there, if they feel that's a microaggression, good.
No, it's an aggression, motherfucker. Well, it's a fucking aggression.
Yeah,
and I'm aggressively aggressing you.
Not quite sure how to take that. I like it.
I'm aggressively aggressing against you.
Getting all Chris Matthews tingling in my leg hearing that kind of talk. Yeah, it just drives me nuts, man. The Jesse Jacksons of the world, you go out there, and even Black Lives Matter, and this is actually crucial, for what's going on with the Colin Kaepernick thing and all kinds of crap. Like, they're out here protesting things, and I can't help it, man. It's driving me nuts. You're talking about, you're mad because police kill 400 black guys a year. Okay, fine. Be mad about that. But shouldn't you be really pissed off about the 5,000 black guys killed by black guys a year that aren't police? Like, shouldn't we be really furious about that? No, we're not. We're just sitting in our freaking corner going, oh, the police are the problem, man. No. Your friend is the problem.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It really is. It's insanity.
And, it started over a lie with Michael Brown.
Okay, so let's talk about Michael Brown real quick, because I reviewed everything on him, right? Okay. And my conclusion is I didn't want to say completely rightful, but his killing was mostly rightful. Just based on the autopsy report and the witness accounts, there are black people who witnessed the incident and say that he was turning towards the officer when he shot him. There's no shots in Michael Brown's body from the back. So it's not, and his body was about 30 or so feet away from the vehicle. So the whole altercation starts with him and the officer tussling at the door of the vehicle, right? Somehow he is shot 30 feet away from the vehicle, but all in the front. Which means that Darren Wilson had to let him run that far away, not shoot him in the back, and then wait for him to turn around and then shoot him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So obviously, this is not a murder. Darren Wilson didn't want to kill him. If he wanted to kill him, he would have shot him in the back while he was running away.
Right. Well, I mean, so the tussle that happened, this is while Darren Wilson was still in the driver's seat of the police car. Michael Brown,
right. And they're trying to say that Darren Wilson tried to pull him into the car.
No cop in their right mind
roughly
would
the
ever
same
do that.
size, height-wise, but Eric Garner was much bigger, right? There's
No,
no
Michael
way
Brown.
that Darren Wilson is going to... Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Your mic.
My mic?
There's no way that Darren Wilson is pulling him into his car. That doesn't even make fucking sense. Why would you pull an aggressor into your car?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. And from what I understand, Michael Brown was trying to grab his weapon.
Which is why he has gunshot wounds in his hand.
Exactly. And so as he ran away, okay, the engagement's over. He was letting him walk away. He may have gotten out to try to chase him down. But since he had already shown an intent to grab the weapon, maybe Darren Wilson doesn't know if he had one on him. Couldn't see him maybe reaching into his waistband. So if he turned around, to me it's reasonable that Darren Wilson assumed he had pulled a weapon out of his waistband and was intending to use it. So he shot him before he had the chance. Totally reasonable to me.
Even if he doesn't have a weapon, he can still hurt you. Like, you can kill people with your bare hands. That happens.
Well, yeah, but not from 30 feet away. I guess that's my reasoning here. Is I think he was well within his reasons to assume he may have grabbed a weapon that he didn't previously try to draw out. And,
right.
Yeah, he was turning around. He was going to open fire on Darren Wilson, who got the upper hand on him. Turns out Michael Brown was unarmed, but his hands certainly weren't up.
If you've seen the videos of him beating up people, right? Eric Garner?
No.
There are videos
Michael
of him
Brown.
beating up crackheads and beating up store clerks and beating up other people in the neighborhood.
Michael Brown or Eric Garner?
Shit, am I confusing it? Let me check.
you keep saying Eric Garner.
Yeah, I'm talking about Michael Brown. My bad.
Okay. Eric Garner's the guy that got... He was the big-ass dude that got choked and died of a heart attack.
He's a cigarettes guy. No, he's a good guy. I think that was a different thing altogether.
I think there were many points of escalation of that one where the whole thing could have been prevented.
My whole thing with Eric Garner's killing, I don't really blame the police for his death. But I do blame our society. And I blame he's selling cigarettes on a fucking corner. That's what he was being arrested for. Mm-hmm. What the fuck? Cigarettes are legal. If I have a Snickers bar and you want to buy it from me, am I going to get killed by the police for that?
It's a little deeper than that, though.
It shouldn't be. I understand that there's taxes and there's people that want to prevent smoking, so they hike up the prices. In New York, do you know how much a pack of cigarettes costs?
God, it's like, what, $15 a pack or some shit?
Some shit like that, man. It's ridiculous. Of course there's going to be a black market for cigarettes. There should be.
But he was selling them to underage kids. At least that's what the report was. That's why.
I don't have any evidence of that. I don't know. But even if he was, who gives a fuck? You never smoked a cigarette when you were younger than fucking 18?
Me? No, never.
Right?
But yeah,
you're selling like 8-year-olds and shit. Fuck him. But
yeah. So after Michael Brown was killed, what happened in Ferguson?
The riots.
Okay, I'm glad you said riots because it sure as hell wasn't protests. And one of the leaders of those riots, and I told you guys earlier at the onset of the show, you're going to see why I called this tasteless. Darren Seals, I believe that's his name, is Darren, was found dead in his car. And he was one of the leaders. Yes, Darren Seals, found shot dead in burning vehicle. And that was this morning. The police were called to the scene. The car was a vehicle fire. Fire was put out. They found a male inside with a gunshot wound. This is important for a number of reasons. Okay, right now the police have, as far as I know, they have no leads. I haven't looked into it again in the last 10 hours or so. They have no leads. They haven't named a suspect yet. But it's an open investigation, so obviously they're going to look into it. I can already see the conspiracy theory is coming out. That somebody's going to come out here and be like, oh, it was the police did it. And, they set the car on fire to destroy the evidence. It's like, okay, stop watching made-for-TV murder mysteries. Stop watching Law and Order. Stop watching CSI. That is all bullshit. All of it. Bullshit. It's meant for entertainment, not to tell you how to get away with murder. If the police really wanted to get away with murder and have nobody find it, I'm pretty sure they could do it. They know what they're looking for when they go to a crime scene. They know what to cover up. As far as I know, bleach destroys DNA. Not trying to give any of you sickos Applin ideas. But, yeah, I can just see it coming out. I don't even see really why it was newsworthy, other than he was the leader of, well, the article classifies it as the protests in Ferguson. I think you said it right. Those were riots. They started burning shit down, much like they did in Milwaukee, much like they did in Baltimore. Burned down their own communities. I think it's important. I think had it happened and, say, Michael Brown had never been killed, you would never know this guy's name.
No.
Like you wouldn't hear, it wouldn't even be newsworthy. And the only reason it's newsworthy is because of the role he played. Outside of that, he hasn't really done anything. I mean,
I don't even know why it's an issue. I mean, if it was the police that killed him, then you gotta assume they deal with crime scenes all the time. They are the ones who find evidence and shit. There's no way they're just gonna find a dead body in a car with it being on fire and the cops just. If they were gonna kill him, why didn't they just shoot him like they do everybody else they shoot? Say he had a gun.
Yeah, I mean, it would be super easy to plant evidence. Maybe you find the most racist cop in that department, or maybe a cop comes from somewhere else and just kills him, or whatever, and plans it. You can get a couple of guys to cooperate. You probably, if you really, really, really wanted to, you could get a couple of guys to cooperate and say, no, you can get an alibi. I mean, the fact they found the gunshot wound, obviously they're going to be able to pull the slug from the dude's skull or wherever it was lodged. I don't remember where it said he was shot. I think it was in the head. They'll be able to pull the slug out.
It probably came from a stolen or unregistered weapon.
You mean whoever shot him probably didn't buy their gun from the NRA?
No, probably not. Probably didn't buy it with a background check or at a fucking gun show either.
No! But how is that possible? Oh, that's right.
I don't know. Because obviously the only guns in this world come from gun shows and gun shops.
I bet they used the gun show loophole that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Everybody knows that every time a gun is bought, somebody has to be registered to buy it.
That's right. Oh, dude, speaking of that, kind of moving to a sports note in a sense, Aqib Talib, the cornerback for the Denver Broncos here in my hometown Denver Broncos, getting ready to beat up on Josh's Carolina Panthers tomorrow night. He got into an altercation earlier this year, and he had according to I listened to some sports talk radio, and this guy, D-Mac, I love him when he talks about sports, but he likes to bring politics in, and he really shouldn't. He starts going, oh, he was caught with an unregistered weapon. Think before speaking, D-Mac, in the state of Colorado. You do not have to register your weapon. I have many unregistered weapons in my house. Many.
Really?
Yes.
I am probably going to move to Colorado.
See, the reason you don't need to register them, you bought it, right? And you had to fill out all the paperwork, and you had to go through the background check. And who ran that background check? CBI, or Colorado Bureau of Investigation. So they already know you have a weapon. It doesn't matter what kind, because they don't care what kind you have. They just know that you have one. Or at least you attempted to purchase one, and more than likely have one. It's the weapon itself may not be registered. But you are, so.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you're always going to be on the radar.
So what's he complaining about?
Oh, no, it's just the ignorance when you were talking about registered guns.
Oh.
When we were talking about how, whoever got the gun that shot Darren Seals is, they didn't have it registered. And those breathe like the ignorance of people, and mainly anti-gunners. And it's maybe not I call it ignorance, and I don't mean that as an insult either, because a lot of them are probably pretty smart people. They're just super uninformed. Like, they just don't know anything about the subject, but they want to pretend that they do because they heard something on CNN talking about assault rifle bans. Maybe they heard Senator Daley on there in California talking about the ghost gun and its 30 caliber clipazine. Um, yeah, I mean, these are the same people that they want to ban the Second Amendment, but we don't want to take away your guns, but we do want to take away your guns. Like, I don't know. They try.
Okay, I want to say something about Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
I should ask you this before I make this comment. Is your mother living?
Yes.
Okay. Does your mother use email?
Yes.
How old is your mother?
Old.
My mom's turning 62 this year.
That wasn't nice. My mom is turning 59 this year. Or she is
What?
50. She is 59.
How old are you?
33.
Your mom's younger than mine when I'm younger than you. That's no big deal. My mom's 62. My mom can't use email for shit. She calls me and asks me to compose emails for her. Right? Hillary Clinton is 68. She is 6 years older than my mom. I think it's not beyond the realm of reason to think that she just doesn't know what the fuck she's doing when she's using an email account.
No, I think it is. Because if you remember, Bill Clinton's vice president, Al Gore, invented the internet. And since she had, close relationships with Al Gore, she's got to know what's going on.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming. Good. No, for real. My mom, I tried to tell her how to use. I bought her a tablet. Got her set up on her Google Drive. All this stuff with technology, and she just does not get it. And I've been doing that shit since I was a little kid. That's why I'm so good with computers. Right. Because since I was like 10 years old, I'd be up at the library helping her write her little stories and working Microsoft Word for her and all this other shit. And for the last 15 years, whatever the fuck it's been, I've been trying to teach her how to use computers, and it just does not fucking sink in. You understand?
No,
their generation don't get it. Some of them do, but the vast majority of them don't.
I was gonna say, I don't know, man, because my grandparents, man, they were pretty in tune with the email, and they knew how to do all that. And some people are just technologically illiterate. Like it just doesn't make sense to them. As far as Hillary Clinton, with the way she handles her emails and the whole she didn't know C stood for confidential or classified, what other people like to say.
I bet she did.
Except she used that C to mark things confidential on emails she composed.
It's probably like when the first old person used LOL. Like, everybody else is doing it. I'm just going to do it too.
LOL. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Well, and her excuse, because who did she give the excuse to? I thought they were just in alphabetical order. Oh, it's when she was talking to the FBI about it, when they asked her if she knew what the C meant before the paragraph. She said, I thought they were in alphabetical order. Shouldn't the very next question have been, did you ever see an A or a B or a D or an E? No? She's one of three things. She is either incredibly stupid, she is lying, or she is incredibly incompetent.
No, I don't think that she's stupid. I think she is lying, but I think she's trying to lie to cover up how
incompetent she is.
How incompetent she is, yes.
Yeah, that's what I think. She's lying to cover up incompetence. So she's two of the three. Let's just call it what it is.
How the Republicans bring up how she backpedals about her vote for the war in Iraq, and it shows that she's not good with judgment, and even if she is good at judgment, she's going to change her mind later on anyways, so it's probably something in that vein where she just doesn't really understand certain things, and then she tries to cover it up with her lies.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm okay with people's positions changing on things. Like, I know people bash her over the gay marriage thing. God, in the late 90s, she was against gay marriage. Well, now she's for it. Okay, people's positions can change. Like, you can evolve over time. I don't know if it can evolve as quickly as Donald Trump did on immigration. That was fast. But then again, maybe it was, okay, I'm going to take this hardline stance way off over here and try to work it back in this way, kind of like trying to negotiate a deal. I'm going to ask for way more, and I'll settle for, this is what I want to settle for. But, yeah, he, or she, I don't think she's smart enough to do that. I really don't.
Well, I don't think she has to be. She's got plenty of Saudi money sitting in a bank account somewhere. She can pay somebody else to be smart for her.
Exactly. She just has to be the mouthpiece.
Yeah. And the same with Donald Trump. Anybody.
Yeah. No, Hillary, though, she just, God, she is such a disgusting woman. Or, yeah, and if she hasn't blamed it on her memory, it's well, I had a concussion and then I had a blood clot. So she's sitting here. I know there are a lot of people out there attacking her over health issues. And she said, no, there's nothing wrong with my health. But then when she talks to the FBI, she talks about how her health is a problem. And I saw a great meme that about Bill and Hillary making so much money off their memoirs for two people who spent 12 years telling Congress that they couldn't remember anything. That's funny.
Yeah,
I mean, it's two different things, but it's funny.
I think she's a crook, and I think she's incompetent. Mm-hmm. I don't think she's stupid.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on there. She's definitely crooked, definitely incompetent.
And I don't know what Donald Trump is. I really don't.
Donald Trump, like I said, I just think he's a thoughtless person. I think Kevin Spacey said it best. You don't get the leaders you want in America. You get the leaders you deserve. And unfortunately, I think America deserves either Hillary or Trump. This is what we've relegated ourselves to. Like, this is what we've gotten behind because we just don't want to be informed. Just a ton of sheeple on either side of the aisle. Just following along blindly, never bothering to question anything, never bothering to question themselves. So, yep.
I mean, we should talk about Gary Johnson, though.
You know what? We could do that next week, man. Let's just do the whole show on Gary Johnson. Let's dissect his platform.
Yeah, let's dissect his platform and the arguments against him and for him.
Deal. I could do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spread the awareness. I mean, I don't know if we go find anything about him that's going to make him a worse candidate than Hillary and Trump, though.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. I watched an interview with him the other night, and I'm not going to say it put him on par with Trump and Hillary, but it definitely gave me reservations about just giving him my vote. He's had it so far, and he still has it, but I definitely have my reservations. Let's just say I'm approaching it with some caution. Let's say that.
Okay. Let's do that. Are we wrapping it up now?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Before we take off, before we sign off here, guys, let's give a big shout out to 22toomany.org. You know who's running that, right?
Thacker, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Doc Thacker, man.
He started it?
He helped start it. I don't think he did it by himself. I think it was him and a couple other guys. From what I've seen, when I looked into it. Yeah, they're up there in Washington doing good stuff. They've held some rallies in Olympia at the state capitol up there. I know they're trying to push really hard to get medical marijuana approved for veterans through the VA and whatnot. Although I guess if you're in Washington, you don't necessarily need medical marijuana because recreational is legal now. But if you can get it prescribed, like, nice.
You can make your insurance company pay for it.
Yeah, or make the VA pay for it. That's even better.
Yeah.
I believe that was approved through the Senate a few years ago. I don't know if it made it through the House.
I don't know. Hear about it.
But, yeah, they're doing good things. They're just wanting to bring awareness and trying to drive down the veteran suicide rate, which we talked about that last week, and how people get fixated on the number 22. Don't get fixated on that number, okay? 1 is too many. Like, we can drive it down. It can go to 0. So don't worry about the number. As long as somebody's out there killing themselves, like, we can get the help. That's right, Josh. That is the high grade pot. That's like the Maui Wowies and stuff. I don't even know if that's still a strain. But yeah, check out their website. It's the word 20, the number 22, many.org. Check them out. Whatever you can do. Donate time. Donate your money. Just spread the word. Something. Everybody can do just a little bit. It doesn't take much. It take 5 seconds out of your day to inform somebody about it, and they can check it out themselves. But yeah, awesome show tonight. Good times.
Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe our videos and our articles and everything.
Yeah, find us at TomaTalkPodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at TomaTalkPodcast.
Everything at TomaTalk Podcast.
That's right. Everything
We
is
don't have an Instagram.
Should we get one? I think we could get in trouble there too.
No.
Yeah, check out the articles. Leave your comments on them. Like them. Share them with your friends. Share them on the Facey Space. As me and Sam,
Argue with them.
Yeah,
if
argue
you don't
with.
like what they're saying.
Yeah, disagree with us all you want, guys. We welcome it. Like, we're all for it. I mean, if I say something you don't like, if Kat says something you like, bring it. We welcome the dissent.
Even better yet, if you don't like anything that we say, start your own YouTube channel, and then we'll just have like a little YouTube war.
Oh, yeah. And just stay tuned as we get to it. I have a rebuttal video planned coming up for somebody here. Very special. I'm not going to tell you too much about it, but just note that it's not going to be technologically advanced or anything. It's just going to be me sitting here in this chair and going off on somebody for a good 5 minutes or so. I don't know if Cass has anything planned, but I'm sure something will pop up here in the future too, and we'll get more videos up on there. Maybe we'll cut up our best of clips of the show this week and put them up there.
After I'm done with the article for the Black Lives Matter review, then I'll probably make a video out of it.
There you go. That might make it actually a pretty good video too.
Yeah, it would be very informative.
Okay. So, well, all right, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in. And everybody that's going to be listening to us on SoundCloud and iTunes, thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget, like and subscribe, like we already said. And don't get tomahawked.
Hasta luego.
Good night, everybody.